My name is Marlon. Welcome to my podcast. This is a special episode I'm recording here with my wife in our home. And for those of you who sent questions, I believe it's been a year now since you sent the questions. We've just been trying to get our schedules to work out and figure out where to shoot this. And we're finally doing it. And just as a disclaimer, we are not marriage counselors. We're just a married couple. And we're going to be sharing what works for us, and hopefully it works for you, but this is not professional marital advice. This is just our journey.
And we also haven't discussed these ahead of time.
We have not. So this is going to be...
Listener beware.
Yeah, this is in the moment. And my wife has the questions on her phone. And these are in no particular order, maybe in the order that I received them. I just copied and pasted them into a note. And yeah, so, oh yes, we just celebrated yesterday our 18th wedding anniversary. Woo! Yesterday of recording this, not when you're watching it. But yeah, 18 years, 18 years together, 2 kids and a dog later. We're reflecting on the questions that you sent to us, I guess, last year during your anniversary when I collected these. All right. That's the first one.
I guess we'll start with some hard ones here. Has divorce ever been mentioned?
Mentioned? I don't think so.
Mm-mm. No, I don't think so.
You want to elaborate, or you want me to talk?
I don't know. I think from the beginning, before we got married, it was a very serious decision for us to take. I don't think anybody, or at least most people, don't get married with the thought that they're going to get divorced, but for us, it was more of a thing where we knew that if we if we made this decision, it was a serious decision and we were in for the long run. Not to say that there aren't reasons why other people may have to resort to extreme measures like divorce, but for us, I don't think it was, I don't remember ever it coming up. I don't know. What would you say?
Yeah, I think something unique about us that maybe not everybody knows, but I have more posts on this and blog posts. So if you go on my blog, I'll try to put links to the other ones where we talk more about our history together. But we were together dating and then engaged. So we were dating for 6 years and engaged for 1 year. We never lived together, but we've known each other and been in contact.
In fact,
in a relationship.
We were apart for a while.
For 4 years.
While we were dating at long distance.
College was long distance. So I say that to say this. When we got married, I think we had a pretty good idea of what we were getting into, as much as you can without actually being married. And another point is that while we were dating, we had decided that if we ever broke up, we'd never get together again. Because if there was something we couldn't solve,
that was bad enough.
That we had to break up
over it,
then we shouldn't be together. So I think when we were dating, we were already practicing. Can we work through our problems? Because the question is not, have you ever had any problems or difficulties? The answer, I guess, is that despite the worst difficulties we faced, divorce has never been mentioned. Okay, I think we're ready for the next question.
Okay. The next one is, did your marriage ever go through hard times?
I guess we almost talked about it without knowing.
Yeah, but I don't know if, I guess hard times can be different for everyone, right? We definitely have, we're different people. So we definitely disagree on a lot of things, and sometimes more strongly than others. So in that sense, we've had many disagreements and many things we had to work through. But when I think of hard times in marriage, I think more of like situation-wise, things outside of us that we had to deal with that was difficult and maybe lasted a while. Those are the things that I see as hard times, but I don't see that as but is that for our marriage, or I guess I don't know. It impacted our marriage, but not in the sense that it impacted how we related to each other. It just made it difficult to work through.
It's difficult to answer these without talking to the person who asked the questions.
Yeah.
So another way of thinking about this, I think about the pain scale. So in the medical field, right, you ask on a scale of
0 to 10.
0 to 10. So whatever your 10 is varies depending on what you've been through in life. And I think based on what we've been through, I think in our married life, nothing ever reached that level of difficulty. So for those of you who don't know,
But what, a 10 for us is a different 10 for somebody else.
right, and this is what I'm saying. So perhaps the difficulties we faced in marriage just never compared to other difficulties we faced in life before getting married.
And also,
If that does that make sense?
I think something, yeah, it does. And I think something else to take into account is that because of the nature of your ministry, of our ministry, of the people we, we minister to and we get to live among, and we see and hear a lot.
Good point.
So sometimes, like by comparison, it doesn't feel like, like it doesn't feel like it's been that bad.
That's a good point. Maybe the average person only knows their marriage
or their
Their surroundings.
immediate surroundings.
and something can feel like, oh, this is awful, this is terrible. But if they knew about what other people have gone through or are going through, they realize, we can work through this. It's not that bad. And that's a good point. I think we have a unique perspective on that because we've worked with other couples, because we've worked with families, because we've been with families in their difficulties.
Yeah.
And I think it helps put things into perspective. And also moving to this country as immigrants, learning the language, going through all of these difficulties. Once we were married, we spoke the language, we were more settled. And I think that also makes it easier compared to, what things were like before or what things were, I don't know. There's a lot of different factors. So we have been through struggles, and some of them, for people who may be wondering, your marriage shifts significantly once you start having kids. And we had 2 kids pretty much back to back. How far apart are our kids?
17 months.
I never remember how many months. It's like less than 2 years.
It was all a blur.
Yeah. So those were tough times. It was not easy.
Yeah, and I think for me, if I was to pick a time where it was like the most difficult time, but it was more like something we went through together, I guess, is after Sarah was born, there were some complications. There were a lot of uncertainties regarding her health, and there was a lot of concern, and there were a lot of doctor's appointments, and you had just been moved to a different district.
Yeah,
so
two churches. Yeah.
So we moved to a different district, and we were an hour and a half away from the doctors, and we had no family nearby, and a whole new community. Everybody was friendly, nice, and supportive, but it's an adjustment time, and so that was a difficult time to get through in general. But
it's like when you take those tests for stress in your
yeah,
life,
yeah.
and you start checking all the
like
boxes.
Moved, health challenges, recent baby,
Lack of sleep.
lack of sleep, no family. Yeah, it was all of it all together.
New job in a way, even though still pastoring, but 2 churches as opposed to the place where we were
by
before.
yourself as opposed to
being an associate.
Yeah, so
yeah.
it was a lot.
Not having family close by. So there were challenges, but we never thought about divorce. But it was something that we faced together that was challenging emotionally,
physically,
physically. We're
emotionally.
just drained, lack of sleep, and that makes everything a little bit more challenging. So there have been challenging moments, but yes, it strains every area of your life. But we never thought about divorce or, that wouldn't solve any of the problems.
Yeah, not those problems. I mean, we've had several disagreements before, but nothing to that point, I'd say.
Yeah.
Well, but that's going back to the first question. We were talking about hard
Yeah,
times. So
I
yes,
guess
we've been through hard times.
yes.
At least
And hard times
what
come in
felt hard times
cycles.
for us. Yeah.
And hard times come in cycles. That was a specific one, and probably the hardest one. There's been other hard times since then, and there was some
Many.
before then. There was graduate
recent
school
ones.
that was difficult. There's been some recent ones. So there's definitely challenges, but at least from my perspective, you could weigh in. I feel like it's always better when we face them together.
Yeah, I think that's one thing we have a little like a it's like a team think, I guess.
We approach it as a team.
Yeah.
The challenges.
All right. So looking back, which of your relationship eras would you like to relive simply to be in that moment again?
It's an interesting question.
Yeah. Relive to simply be in that moment again. I think, I don't know, that's hard to choose. It's been 18 years and I definitely like us better now than ever before. You know, I feel like we're more connected. I feel like we know each other better. I feel like just everything is better now. But maybe if we were to go back with this mindset from now to the past, maybe that period before, you know, from right after we got married till right before we left for seminary, or right before the kids came, just
It should be that period.
Yeah.
It was, from when we got married to when I went to seminary and you went to nursing school. I think reliving those days,
not like going
with what we know now.
Yes. Otherwise, no, thank you. I'm happy.
Yeah. And I think that that's part of it, right? If you don't have kids, if you are not in your 40s, you're just so young and free and you have energy and there's all this stuff that you can do, but you don't really realize it. You think you're busy, but you're not. And yeah, and it was such a great period. I mean, all of the periods in our lives was just, we've met so many wonderful people. We've made so many friends. We've lived in all these different places. But yeah, life pre-kids would be interesting to revisit.
Yeah, not because I wish the kids away.
No, and
But
we're
just
enjoying having our kids.
Yeah, I think it's just, just that time of, I don't know, it doesn't feel like it was no responsibility. And I don't think that's what I mean. But, you know, it's like a
We
limited.
romanticize the memories.
A limit, right, yes. But definitely with like today's mentality, not going back to what it was when, you know.
We're still
were
figuring each other
young
out.
and, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So then the next one. Was there ever a time that you guys wanted to end your marriage? Oh, this goes back to the other one.
Well,
If
these
so, how did you both overcome it? So I guess we already answered that one.
Well, we didn't talk about how we overcame it, but
Well, there was never a time.
and just to clarify too, these questions came from online, from social media, different people sending them, so they weren't necessarily aware of other questions that had been asked. So repeat that one again.
Was there ever a time that you guys wanted to end your marriage? No.
No.
If so, how did you overcome it? I mean, there wasn't one, so we can't answer that one. So sorry, no. The answer is no. There was never a time.
Never wanted to, never thought about it.
No.
In these 18 years.
Nope. Again, we had our disagreements, but it was never to the point where we're like, oh, I have to get rid of this man. Anyway, what are some things that keep your relationship solid?
That's a good question.
I'll let you start.
One thing while we were dating that helped, and this was props to you, you were always very good about communication and calling and making sure that we didn't lose that contact. One thing that we did while we were dating that we don't do as much now, we still do it, but not as frequently, is we used to always pray together every night. And that was an opportunity to catch each other up on the day. So praise reports, this is going well, I'm grateful for this. prayer requests. I'm struggling with this. This is coming up. I'm concerned. And I think that was a good way of being aware what was happening in each other's lives, because for 4 years we were away. I was going to college in Tennessee. You were going to college in Massachusetts. So we couldn't even just drive over.
Yeah, and I think part of that too is the thought of long distance relationships was really scary to me to begin with. Well, I guess it is for anyone. It is not pleasant. I do not recommend.
No.
Do not recommend. But I, like coming from having moved here at a young age, at 13, when I had a lot of friends back in Brazil, and to see those friendships kind of fizzle out to almost nothing. I mean, it's hard to be away. You grow apart. You get new friends, you have new activities to do, you just don't have a lot in common anymore to connect. And that was scary to me, to be apart, to be in a relationship and to be apart. It helped that we had maybe almost like a year and a half before you went to college, from the time we started dating. 2 years. Three. Yeah, 3 years.
3 years.
So we had 3 years before, so that helped kind of solidify it a little bit.
And we had been friends before we started dating too.
Right,
so.
But I think that making sure that we connected every day, at least for a little bit, as much as we could, and just share a little bit of our, what was going on, so that we were aware of what's happening with each other. We were in each other's still sphere of, what's happening. And so that's part of the reason why I wanted to make sure that we stay connected. And of course, prayer and God. But yeah, just I try to be very intentional about that.
And also on that note, we were dating. We are old enough that this was before social media.
Oh, yeah.
This was before, texting was just starting, so we weren't texting each other.
Oh, there was no texting
There was no
then.
texting then. This was after we graduated.
This was like dial-up internet.
Yeah. So we had free mobile to mobile, so we would call and talk.
Yeah.
And I think also when you talked about, our dating before, we had a plan that we were going to be long distance for 4 years, and once I graduated and got a job, we would get married. So there was a plan. It wasn't, let's see where this goes.
We were young dreamers, that's for sure.
Yeah, I had a plan from the get-go, and I think that also helped, because I wasn't looking. I wasn't like, no, this is, we're long distance, but this is the one.
We didn't take it wasn't just like, we took it seriously, right? If we're gonna date, then, and if it's not going to go anywhere, then we're not going to move on with this. But if we are sticking to it, it's because we truly believe like this is going to go somewhere, we're truly trying to figure this out. So
yeah, that's a good point. So that's something I think dialogue really helps, communication, asking each other, being interested in each other's days, and that's something that we do to this day. How was work? How was your day? What are you looking forward to? Let's get together. Let's plan what's happening. Also, because our schedules are so busy with church-related things, or we're always communicating about what's happening, what's coming up this weekend. How are we gonna work this out? We're gonna meet with this group in the morning, and then with this group in the afternoon, and this with the evening. And what are we doing next week? And between the kids' schedule, work, my schedule, and just so there's a lot of we plan together. We are, I think, very aware of what's happening in each other's lives. Not that we don't trust each other, we're just interested, and we do so many things together as a family, as a couple.
We try for the most part to be as involved together as we can. One thing that I have really enjoyed, that has really made a difference for me, especially as the kids were small and the days were very demanding, emotionally wise, physically wise, with just tending to young kids, is making sure the kids went to bed on time, 7 o'clock, 7:30, they were in bed. And that way we could have a little bit of time where we could just sit and maybe have dinner together, or
a cup of tea.
yeah, or do something together, or talk, or just be able to enjoy each other's presence, or share what happened throughout the day. Or I think that really, at least it helped me. Now it's a little harder. Kids go to bed late. I'm sure they're still awake upstairs. Kids go to bed late, so it's a lot hard. Like, I still keep on trying to grab on to the time, and we just keep going to bed later and later. But
And for perspective, for those who don't know, so our oldest just turned 13,
a couple months ago,
and our youngest is
11,
11.
about
So-
to turn
so
12 in a little bit.
This is where we are right now. So now they're staying up a little bit later than they used to.
Especially through the summer. But I'm still, I still enjoy that just time that we have one-on-one to share, to talk, to eat something together, to laugh. Maybe sometimes I send them little funny videos that I find throughout the day, and then at the end of the day we sit together and just
Go over them.
yeah, look at them and laugh and laugh and laugh. And
But together. And
Yeah.
this is something that we try to just make sure, even like if you have to do some charting for work or something and you're there on your computer, try to be close by,
yeah,
and being in your presence, in each other's presence at least.
yeah,
Even if we're having to work late on something.
or yeah. So communication, time together. I mean, I wouldn't call these exactly date nights every night, but just
No,
like a
we rarely go on dates,
Yeah.
actually.
just like a together time,
Yeah.
time. What else? Is there anything else? Things that keep your relationship solid. So communication, openness, sincerity, honesty at all times.
I think there's also something that's worth mentioning is talking about what bothers you as opposed to just letting it fester inside. And I try to share with you, and I also ask you. There's certain questions that we tend to ask each other, and I tend to be more intentional with this. Is there something that I'm doing that you'd like for me to do more of? Is there something that I'm doing you'd like for me to do less of? Every so often I ask you these questions, and we have these conversations, and if there's something that upsets me, I try to bring it up, not angry, but like, hey, this thing happened and I didn't really like, and then you also do that with me. So we can get ahead of those problems as opposed to just not talking about it, ignoring it, and then later it's just gonna blow up later on, right? And it's gonna be bigger, and it's gonna be 2 or 3 problems combined. So we try, as we're talking, as we're communicating, as we're laughing at videos, we also try to share, maybe this could have been better, or maybe my wife has a habit of telling me this, and I'm working on this. It's not what you said, it's how you said it, right? So it's things that I'm working on. And sometimes something will happen in front of the kids, and we're like, we're gonna talk about this later. And then after the kids go to bed, like, hey, let's revisit that. How could we have handled that better? And also both of us have come to the kids the following day and said, look, I handled this yesterday, I did this, and that was not my best behavior. I'm not proud of it. I should have done it this way. We want to show the kids that we talk, we apologize, we recognize that we make mistakes. And this is how we deal with it. We say, hey, I was wrong, I'm sorry, I should have done it this way. And we also apologize to our kids when we mishandle things with them. So that talking time is really important, and we want to make it as pleasant as possible, but there are times that we also talk about issues that we're working on and things that we could do better.
Yeah. Another thing that I've been really enjoying, at least recently, is we've been waking up really early, like before the sun, and
At 5:15.
yeah, and going and doing like a workout together, and then we get back home and get the stuff all, food ready, breakfast ready, or food ready for the day. and just kind of working together on that, and that just, I don't know, feels like productive and like we're closer.
And that is something that we hadn't been able to do for a while, but we enjoy if we get a chance to exercise together. And it's kind of tricky for us because we don't necessarily enjoy the same things. So I have some exercise equipment in the garage. My wife does not enjoy those. If I go for a run, she does not enjoy that. And our schedules are so different now. But at least for this summer, for these few weeks, we've been doing, there's a workout place not too far from our house, and we can get there in about 5 minutes.
Yep.
And we go through this circuit together with somebody else leading the class, which helps.
Yes. All right. So the question is, this one's for Vanessa. Marlon always says he wasn't a super attentive boyfriend. What made you take the risk on him anyway? Okay. So I think what you meant by not being an attentive boyfriend is that you weren't the kind who, I don't know, who was going out of the way, for example, to spur of the moment drive back 12, 18 hours for a weekend, you know, to see me up in Massachusetts while you were in college. Or you weren't the kind that would be, I don't know, if you were busy, you know, that you were focused on what you were doing, and it was not like, oh, you know, I have to stop this and then go call my girlfriend or something. So is that what, along the lines of what you meant?
Yeah, especially by comparison to some other guys that I know that would, like, you know, surprise and visit their girlfriend or do all these things, and I never did any of those things.
So what made me, what did they say? Take the risk?
Yeah.
What made you take the risk on him anyway? Ooh, that's a difficult question. It was risky.
I took a gamble.
Yeah, I did, I guess. But I think part of it is I knew him well enough to know certain qualities about him, you know, like honesty or loyalty. Just certain things that led me to the conclusion that, okay, he's not, you know, doing some crazy thing and driving over or flying over spur of the moment, or but he was constant, you know, he's not all over the place. I don't know, was it risky? Yes. Do I feel like it paid off? Yes, by a million. I do think it paid off.
I'm so glad.
But I can't say that would apply for everyone, that everyone is the same, you know. So
I guess what attracted you to me wasn't like big romantic gestures. It wasn't, but
no, I didn't like those.
No, and I did those. It's not like I never did it. It was just not often enough.
Well,
and it's something I think if I could redo, I try to be more attentive. And also I was very mindful of being broke and not having the funds. I mean,
well, I'm sure
Massachusetts to Tennessee was a trip.
You've made up for your lack of attentiveness, if that's what you want to call it, many times over. So I'm not concerned. But I would definitely, like, if somebody is in a situation where they're dating someone and they don't seem like they care very much, I'd say watch out, you know, like really take the time to consider, you know, how well you really know this person, how much do you trust them, how loyal they are, and really take the time to consider before taking a huge step like marriage. So.
And I think part of me saying those things, you know, that person is somebody who knows us, obviously. But it could be just one of those like just guilt things. Like you're so amazing. I'm like, oh, I should have been like, done more. I'm really glad that it worked out. I guess it's just retrospect. Like, oh, I wish I had.
Okay, next. What is something that you more or less tend not to agree on, but will allow or understand to happen because you know it's important to the other person? All I can think about is how I put the toothpaste on my toothbrush.
Yeah. There's no
Anyway.
learning curve. It's just flat.
Yep.
So the question is, what do you allow?
What do you allow or understand to happen because you know it's important to the other person?
Important to the other person. I don't know if we have a lot of things like that.
Yeah.
So
Maybe like
in
for example,
ministry, there's a lot of things that we do because it's important to us that, I don't know.
I was thinking more of along the lines of whenever we are having a discussion or a disagreement, that you understand now, I mean, after a while, you understand that sometimes I need time to think through before we have, before we discuss. Because I'm not as quick at coming up with like all that I'm thinking about, putting it into words as you are. So it takes me time to really think through on how to say certain things, or like to be able to put into words what I'm feeling or what I'm thinking. Where you're super, like you're quick at it. And you are the kind of person that you want to talk it out and get it done from the beginning. And for me, I take time to kind of like process things before I do want to resolve it, but I want to come up with the right words so that you can understand my side. So I don't know. That's all I can think of.
That's one of the things I wish we could talk with the person who asked the question to identify it. Because what I was thinking was, let's say you need to go out with your friends once a month or whatever, and even though I don't really like it, I let it because it's important for you. Or if I had to be like, oh, I have to play my video game, or which I don't have, or but I'm just trying to think of other couples and some of the things that I've heard about that, like, well, it's important for him, it's important for her, so I don't really like it, but I let them do it. I don't think we have anything like that in our relationship.
No.
Maybe it's unique in that sense that we don't have that type of thing. Also, because we got married fresh out of college, I don't think I ever got to develop anything. Like, there wasn't a routine in the life before you came along. It was college dorm, and then our life has been together.
Yeah, like our routine was built together. Yeah, that makes sense.
And around each other. And I think also because we've moved so often, we've had each other.
Right.
It's not like I had this group of friends and we used to do things before you came along, and now you came along, but I already have this routine built that we both moved to Texas and started our life there and made our routines together.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a matter of not, I guess, fully understanding the question, but I hope that's helpful.
What do you do when only one person in the couple is filling the other's glass and you repeatedly ask him to fill your glass, but he never does it? Ooh. It feels like one always gives and never receives. What do I do with my partner if this doesn't change for years?
That's rough.
This is a tough one.
Yeah. One of the things, so in our marriage, I assume, and I believe I'm correct in assuming this, that you love me and that you're not hurting me on purpose or being selfish on purpose. If I perceive you to be selfish, it was not intentional. Like there was something else on your mind, you're just really focused. And there are times that I feel that way. There are times that I'll feel like, this thing is more important to her than me. And you probably feel that way about me in certain issues. But we talk about it, and one of the things, going back to that question about giving, 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 I think about the love language, because maybe the other person thinks that they're giving, but they're giving in a way that doesn't come across
Yeah,
as,
that you don't perceive as
that you
love.
don't perceive as love. So I remember just this week I was listening to a different couple that I know. I met the husband. I haven't really met the wife except through social media, but they were doing a live together. And for him, quality time is just being in the same room, even if you're doing different things. And that satisfies him. He's at home with his wife. She may be working the computer. He may be reading or something, but they're together. For him, that's quality time. For her, quality time is looking each other in the eye, no distractions, talking to each other. That's quality time. So if she wants that, she may be thinking, oh, he never wants quality time. And he may be thinking, oh, I love that all that time that we spent together the other day when we were building a shelf. I don't know. And for him, that counted. For her, it didn't. It's not that he wasn't filling her cup. He thought he was, but it wasn't what she was saying. So it's hard without knowing the details, but it could be that one person is doing. So I have a friend, I get the feeling his love language is gift giving, because he's given me several gifts. And the other day I was thinking, I've never given him anything. Like, it's just, I don't think about buying people gifts. It's not like my love language tends to be more words of affirmation. So I talk this friend up in front of him, behind his back. I tell everybody like how amazing he is and he's so good at all these things. For me, this is me showing my love to my friend. And maybe he would say, well, Marlon doesn't care for me. He's never given me anything, even though I've given him a gift for this and for this other thing and for the other. So that prompted me to connect with that friend and be like, hey, like, I hope you don't take this the wrong way. So that's a possibility. And these are the types of questions. I mean, this person, they're already married, but these are the type of things to look out for when you're dating, and try to figure this out. Once you're married, then you try to work through it.
Yeah, I would say, if if you haven't done the love languages quiz, I'm sure you can find one online, and maybe suggest for you and your partner to take a quiz and just see, like, how do you perceive love? Sometimes that comes from our homes, or sometimes that's like an intrinsic thing. So from like our homes, like growing up as children, or just an intrinsic way in which you express or you feel loved. So maybe starting there and then having an honest conversation. Sometimes it's hard to, I don't want to presume to tell anybody like this is the way to go, or what to do, but like every relationship is unique. For my husband and I, like I care deeply about him being happy, and he cares deeply about me being happy. So it's the dynamics here. Like if I feel like there's something that's bothering me like that, I'd have to share it, because I know he'd want to know. But I know that not everywhere or everyone is like that. So I don't know. I'd say start there and have an open conversation and say, hey, I really love you, and this is how I see this is how you feel loved, but I am not, I'm struggling here.
Careful with the
sorry.
microphone. And I think that the love language quiz may be an opportunity to get the conversation going. And we're not marriage counselors. Like a lot of the questions about our relationship, and we can talk about that. It's hard for me to talk about somebody else's. But I would imagine, or I hope, that if your partner loved you enough to marry you, that they're interested in filling your love cup, and that expressing this to him, not in an accusatory way, but maybe asking questions. Maybe, how do you show your love for me? What are the things that when you do these things, you're saying, I love you? And by the way, for the guys, because it tends to be the guys, I don't want to overgeneralize, but putting food on the table and paying the bills that's great. And I think it's wonderful that you can do that and that you do that if you do that. But that's not love. That's being responsible. So love should be something on top of that. So, I don't cheat. Well, good job. You're keeping your vows. That's being just a decent human being. Showing love should be something above and beyond that. And it doesn't have to take money. It should be just intentional. So something to talk about for sure, and maybe look for a good marriage counselor, a good Christian marriage counselor who has the right values. Because if you get the wrong counselor too, they can just make things worse. And I've heard some weird stories. So just choose carefully if you go that route. I'm not against counseling, I'm all for it. You just have to choose counselors that have Christian values, biblical values, who believe in marriage. So
All right. So now, and just by the way, these questions are anonymous, so we don't know.
we have no idea who's asking.
Who sent them? Yeah. Do you have a bucket list trip? Oh, I have many. I have a long bucket list.
Yes, we've done several. As
Yeah.
I'm looking here, I'm looking at these pictures we have on the wall. So we've done several national parks, which is sort of a thing that we enjoy doing with our kids. We went to Iceland for our 15th
wedding anniversary.
wedding anniversary. We still want to do Banff in Alaska.
Oh, no, it's not. That's Canada.
Canada. Sorry, Canada and Alaska, they're different places.
Yes.
And Banff is in Canada.
Snowy, but yes.
What else? Do you have any other bucket lists?
I don't know. There's a lot of places I'd like to go.
We've made a list.
Everywhere. I like to go everywhere. I like to go, I like the idea of tropical vacations and just hanging out at the beach. But I like to, we've never been to Hawaii. I like to go to Hawaii one day, maybe somewhere in the Pacific, islands possibly, somewhere. I'd like to see historical sites like
We've never been-
Greece,
ever been
Rome,
to Europe,
Egypt. Yeah,
As a
Europe. So yeah, I like to go everywhere.
We do enjoy traveling.
Right.
And we'd rather own fewer things or own older things and use that extra money to travel.
Yes, although we don't have a lot of time to travel,
It's gotten
but
complicated.
we try. I would those are things I like to do. Maybe go visit our friends in Guam. Anyway, in a
Germany.
society where it is so easy to leave, why are you still married?
I can start with this one.
Okay.
And we were talking about this yesterday when we were celebrating our 18th anniversary. There's certain joys and just life experiences that I think you only unlock after being with someone for so long. So if we had walked away, if I had walked away from you, started fresh with somebody else, I think I'd have a lot of similar experiences of those early years, but I wouldn't get to have the experience of 15 plus years.
Yeah.
So for example, there's the first few years as a married couple where you're adjusting to each other. And then when you have kids, there's the other craziness that comes with kids. And then there's financial, there's health, there's all of these different stressors. But then now we're getting to the point to where we know each other better. We understand each other better. I feel more seen and heard and more comfortable. And I think that if we had not stayed together for 18 years, we would not have gotten to this point. So walking away may seem easy and it may feel easy, but you are missing out on what it feels like to be together on the other side of the current struggles and difficulties, and what it feels like to be together despite the challenges and the things that really pushed us to, because we think we know where our limits are as far as how much we can handle, but then together I think we can look back and be like, wow, look at these things that we've been through, look at these things that we have experienced as a family. And I think that increases our trust in each other and our ability to, I think, just to see and to be seen. I think there's a lot more than we know about each other, that we can communicate more effectively, and that we can come together to face challenges because we've been doing it for 18 years now.
Yeah, like I said in the beginning, a time that we would relive again. Maybe the first few years, just for the sense of, I don't know, low responsibility. But I wouldn't trade the relationship we have now in how, I don't know, how we interact, how much we know about each other, how, even though then it felt like it was amazing, but now I wouldn't trade this for that. So I don't know. I'm glad we're here, and I'm looking forward to saying the same thing, in 10 years, 20 years, 30 years from now. So I'm looking forward to that. Why? I see, the way I look at our marriage is we make a good team. We make a good team in the sense that I'm not in it for what I can get. Sorry, I'm not in it for what I can get out of it, and for myself. Although there are many benefits, and you are not in it for yourself, but we are in it for the two of us. So, whenever we have supported each other throughout the process, and therefore we both reach higher than we would have if we were, compared if we were alone. So that's kind of how I see it. Of course, God, first and foremost, in our lives and guiding the whole thing. But I do feel like we have achieved a lot more together than we would ever be able to do apart, just in terms of, education, in terms of, I don't know, everything. So
I think that's a very good point. We support each other with education and understanding. Oh, my wife is taking these classes. I'm gonna pick up the slack at home, or she's had a rough day. Let me, in the same way you do that for me. Oh man, he's been dealing with this. Let me. So being there to minister to each other, to help each other during the struggles, has really been helpful and a good experience. And also having that responsibility, right? I take it upon myself to help my wife live her best life. How can I support her in her dreams? How can I support her in the things that she loves? How can I support her in the things that she is passionate about? And I feel like she does that for me. And this is a wonderful thing, because we don't have to demand that from each other. We're interested in doing that for each other. If anything, we'll ask, hey, how can I support you in this, right? What does help look like in this situation? Because I have been in the situation where I think I'm helping, but really I'm making things worse, right? I'm making it more stressful. I'm making like, this isn't helping. Okay, so what would help look like in this situation? And then listen, right? How do you want to be helped? As opposed to, this is how I want to help you. Like, this is not helpful, but I want to help you this way.
Yeah.
Well, it's not helping. And even that we've learned over time.
Right.
There were things that I thought were helpful and they weren't. And now we've gotten better at understanding what the other needs. If I had a long and bad day, what I need to unwind is slightly different than what my wife needs to unwind if she's had a long and difficult day. And so we have learned to give each other the space, or provide the support, and whatever that might be, depending what we're going
but
through.
But also with the ultimate goal in mind for the wellness of our family.
Yeah.
It's never like, oh, the ultimate goal is for me to be, sorry, this microphone. The ultimate goal is not just for me to feel good and do well, regardless of what everybody else in my family is doing, is how does our family grow? Like, how do we benefit our family? Is this going to be helpful for our health, for our mental health, for our social? Yeah. So it's more of it's constantly checking with each other, but also just looking for the best in each other and helping each other function at their best. and that way we both move forward and succeed.
And I think also finding our joy in the success of the other.
Yeah.
When you succeed, I'm happy. When our kids do well, I'm happy. And when I do well, I'm happy. And I think being able to rejoice in the success of your spouse, in the success of your children, and knowing that we do this together as a family.
That's our success.
It's our success.
Yeah. Okay. Do you both think it's okay to have a friend of the opposite sex as long as either of you know about the other person? Specifically asking this due to the stigma that you cannot have friends of the opposite sex if you are married.
Ooh. You take that one.
Well, I don't know. That's not something that either of us have had issues with. I mean, there's all kinds of friends. I don't know, ask the CEO from Astronomer. But anyway, no, I'm just kidding. There's all kinds of friends. And yeah, there might be friendships where, I don't know, it might be a little weird. I don't know, but we've never had that issue, so I can't really speak to that.
I give my wife full permission. As a matter of fact, especially in the past, I've asked you for help in this. Like, if you think something's a little weird, let me know, because sometimes I miss cues or I don't understand. And I definitely, because I tend to be more friendly, more outgoing, just talking with people, I never wanted to come across as more than just that. With that said, I do avoid being by myself with someone of the opposite sex for extended period of times, especially if there's nobody else around. I have friends who are female and we talk, and my wife and I have free access to each other's cell phones, which it's not that we go through each other's cell phone, but I think it's a sign that I don't have anything to hide. And the friends that I have, I know the friends that we have, we talk about our friends, and if there's ever a friendship that was a little weird, we would share. And I think we do that. Like, is this weird to you? Like, what is this? And what was that all about? But never had a major. So, but I feel like it's not my place to say to somebody else, it's fine, because I don't know. I don't know your husband. I don't know your wife. I don't know what their relationship with this other person is like. I know that for us,
I mean, we have friends of all, of male, female, male, female. We have a lot of friends. Just grateful for all the friends that we have. I don't know. I don't know exactly what this friendship is describing. Maybe it's not weird to you, but it would be to me, or maybe it's weird to you, but not to me. I'm not sure.
It's hard without knowing more context of that question. And I think also, if your relationship is healthy, you're not looking for that elsewhere. So if I go out with friends for an activity, but if I go out with friends for an activity, it's for that activity. But I'm not looking. So for example, if my love language is words of affirmation, and you've been busy with work, with the kids, with other things, and usually just painting a scenario, the interactions that we have, what's highlighted is the things that I forgot to do or that I didn't do well, and then I'm like, But then there's this other friend that's like, oh, this thing that you did was so good, and then like, oh, I feel loved. I'm gonna go hang out with this friend more. I think we need to be sensitive to that. If I'm seeking outside of my spouse for somebody to fill my love cup, and then talk and just be saying like, hey, like this could become a problem. I don't want this to become a problem. Or just, am I needy right now? Like, do I have this need that I'm not feeling like it's fulfilled?
Your friends can't fill your love cup. They can in different ways, But there's things that, there's a boundary there. And I think that's the key part. It's just understanding and knowing that boundary. I don't think we've had issues with the boundaries.
No, and you made a good point that, our spouse cannot be everything to us. Mm-hmm. We're a lot of things to each other, but you're right. It's okay to have friends that fill your love cup in certain ways.
Well, there's different kinds of love cups too.
Yeah, Yeah, so if you have an activity that you really enjoy with your friends that I don't enjoy, by all means enjoy it with your friends. And so as long as it doesn't replace the spouse, and I guess you just have to be sensitive, pray about it,
Yeah, I think it's
seek
more about
wisdom from God,
boundaries and
and being
talking.
honest with yourself.
Yeah, and again, you have to take into account that the two of us, I mean, we have been married for 18 years, but we have been together for 25, and we are only 40. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yeah, we started dating in 2000.
Yeah, so we've been together for 25 and we're only 40. So in terms of friendships, and as soon as we got married, we moved away from everybody we knew, and we were out, very far from everyone. So really, like our friendship, we have a strong friendship because we had that, and that's the thing that has been constant, because we were there for a little while, then we moved, then we moved, then we moved, then we moved. So this is different than a lot of people who are in one place, have been maybe in one workplace, or have had just like a more of a stable time.
That's a good point.
So it might be different for us than for others. Like I don't see anyone from high school or college, So
We've moved about every 2 to 3 years.
yeah. We've been here for 4 now, but
Woo-hoo.
so anyway, but
And we don't plan on going anywhere.
Yeah, so it's just it might be a little harder for us to understand because
Our relationship is unique.
we
in
haven't
many
had
ways.
we haven't had to deal with that to that sense. I mean, we have friends who are male and female, both of us, but they're mostly like together friends.
As a group.
They're not like my friends or his friends. They're our friends. So I don't know if we're the best person to ask that question.
No, but that's our answer.
All right, the last one. Any teaching tips or advice on discussing marriage to kids, next generation? Great question. That's something that we've been discussing with our kids over time, and I think it's something that it's been an ongoing conversation. They're 13 and 11 now. In fact, today we just watched our wedding video. It was more like a celebration thing that we did for ourselves.
We're going to do it yesterday, but we had prayer meeting, so we did it tonight.
So we had our kids, and we all together watched our wedding video. But some things that we do often is my husband or I will share, with the kids, maybe during dinner or we're on a car drive or something, like, oh, how do I know your dad was the one? Or how do I know your mom was the one? What are the characteristics I looked for for a husband or in a wife? And we try to share that so that they can be aware. We also try to model, like he said, we're not perfect. We're very different people. We think different ways. We react different ways. But we are in this together, and that's what we want our children to understand, that we don't take marriage lightly, and that even though we may have disagreements, that we can work through things, we can talk through things, and even though we made mistakes, we can apologize and ask for forgiveness and move on from there. And we try to model as much as we can a healthy relationship, where there's a lot of love involved, and we try to show and express and make sure the kids understand that, how we feel about each other at all times.
And I think we also share, I love this about mom. I love mom. What are the things you love about mom? And we share as a family what we love about each other. And I want to make sure that the kids understand that as much as I think that their mom is absolutely beautiful, there's so much more to her, so many qualities of character, and how important trust is, especially in respect. And so it's not just a romantic fairy tale. She's the most beautiful woman of them all. Well, I believe that, but there's a lot more to being married and staying married than just, he's cute, she's cute, but rather what are the qualities? You know, how do we make this work? And there are books out there, and if you're interested, you can just contact us, either leave a comment, reach through social media.
And again,
and
we are
can
in
share.
the process of this. Do we know, what's the right way, or if this is going to have an effect or make a difference? You're going to have to ask us in another 10 years or so, maybe more, probably more,
And one
15.
thing,
And then we'll let you know if it worked out.
and one thing that's really important, we always keep Jesus at the center
Right.
of everything. And the reason why it works is because both of us have Jesus at the core. So as we both fully surrender to God and seek God's will and invite God into our lives and into our decisions and all of this, I think that is a huge component, and hopefully our kids witness that as well.
Yeah.
It's not just, as much as we have all these tips and advice and life experiences, I think really the glue that holds us together and what keeps us, because we run out of love on our own. But I think as we receive from God, then we have enough to give and to share. So that's at the core. My wife, I witnessed this. We wake up in the morning at the crack of dawn, and she will open her Bible and read. And I have devotional with the kids in the morning when she goes, at least in the summer, she goes off to work. I'm with the kids, giving them breakfast. I'll read a devotional book and just keeping Jesus at the center day by day, praying for each other, praying with each other.
Yeah.
That's really important too.
One time I saw someone explain that it was kind of like a bicycle wheel with all the spokes, and each person is at the end of a spoke, I guess you could say, and Jesus is at the center. And the closer you get to Jesus, the closer you get to each other. So I've kept that in my mind, like our focus, if we're all focused on the same goal, with the same goal in mind, I guess, the same purpose, then we will we will be close to each other. So
yeah, I think this is it for this time.
Mm-hmm.
If you have any questions as you were listening that you'd like to ask, we'll probably try to do this again. It could be a year or two.
Who knows?
But maybe by our next anniversary, I'll
Maybe
send something out.
Maybe by the 20th.
Our 20th anniversary, wedding anniversary, I'll send
It'll be
out
a big
some more opportunities for you to ask questions anonymously. I hope this was helpful. Let us know in the comments. And thank you, honey, for taking the time. I know it's late and we have to get up early tomorrow, but thank you for taking the time and putting up with me making this mess in our house here so we could record this. And
as long as you clean it up.
Right, I will. And may God bless you in your relationship. Thank you for those of you who ask questions. And until next time,
Yes.
may God bless you.
Bye.